Hi, I'm Kenny with Embroidery Library. Today I'd like to show you how to make this classic tote bag with two embroidered pockets. I'm using canvas to make the tote bag. Another option is corduroy or denim. When choosing fabric for the tote bag, make sure it's sturdy. I'll start by making the pockets for the bag. Draw a 7-inch square on the fabric for the pockets. I'm using denim. A template is a printout of a design, and it's an excellent tool for planning where to stitch. Arrange the template in the center of the fabric. Mark the center point, as well as the vertical and horizontal access lines. Those marks help to hoop the fabric straight. Hoop the fabric with one piece of cutaway stabilizer, lining up the marks in the fabric with the marks on the hoop. Attach the hoop to the machine and load the embroidery design. Move the hoop so the needle is right over the center point. Embroider the design. I use a size 11 or 7511 sharp sewing needle when I embroider on denim. You can use an embroidery needle also, but a sewing needle has a smaller, finer point than an embroidery needle. That's why I prefer a sewing needle when embroidering on sturdy fabric. After embroidering, trim the stabilizer away from the back. Cut out the square. Place the embroidered piece on top of the lining fabric, right sides together. I'm using twill. Pin in place. Cut around the square. Sew a 1/2 inch seam along the sides and top. Leave the bottom open for turning. Turn the pocket right side out. Press the seams with an iron. Turn the open side in 1/2 inch to the wrong side and press. Top stitch a 1/8 inch seam along the top only. Repeat to make a second pocket. Next, I'll work on the body of the bag. Cut a piece of canvas or corduroy that is 30 inches tall by 20 inches wide. The center of this rectangle will be the bottom of the bag. I'm placing the embroidered pockets about 5 inches apart with the bottoms facing each other, and they're centered between the sides of the fabric. Pin in place. Sew the sides and bottom of the pockets to the bag. When you sew this step, the bottom gets closed. Lay out the strapping, making a large oval so it covers the sides of the pockets. I'm making the handles 24 inches long, so I'm using 3 yards of strapping. The ends of the straps should meet where the bottom of the bag will be. Fold one of the raw ends over 1/2 inch, then overlap it over the raw end of the other end 1/2 inch. Pin in place. Then stitch it down both sides. Stop stitching 1 inch from each edge to allow for the top hem. Fold the rectangle in half, right sides together. Pin in place. Use a 1/2 inch seam allowance to sew up each side. Then serge or use a zigzag stitch to reinforce the seam. Fold the top edge down 1/2 inch and press. Fold another 1/2 inch and press. Sew a 1/4 inch seam all around the top. At the bottom corner of each seam, flatten the side to the bottom of the bag until you have 4 inches of fabric. Stitch seams across the corner at the 4 inch wide points. Trim the excess away and finish the seams. The finished size of this bag is 19 inches wide at the top, 14 inches wide at the bottom, and 11.5 inches tall. It's a really nice size, big enough to hold the essentials, but not so big that it'll be too bulky or get too heavy. This one has a Wild Wild West theme, and I tied a bandana around the handle for an extra touch. Thanks for watching today. For machine embroidery designs and tutorials, visit our website, www.emblibrary.com.